This is the Pex Console. It's a handheld game console created specifically for playing pico8 games. Pico8 is this retro game engine that's used to create, play, and share retro games. And the coolest part is that you can export your game into a PNG, and the entire game source code will be embedded in this PNG, and anyone is able to load up this virtual cartridge and play any games. There are actually like so many games created for this platform. But I thought, what happens if I take this little IMU or accelerometer, stick it into the console somehow, expose this device to pico8 using software, and I can mod some of the games to be able to take input by tilting the console. So this module is the Adafruit breakout board version, but if we just search up the little chip, we see that it uses SPI or I2C for data output. So the Pex Console itself obviously doesn't actually have any like GPIO available anywhere, but luckily if you take a look at this little port right here, the console comes with this little debug dongle that exposes some GPIO and UART and some other random stuff like power rails you can see clearly. But unfortunately, it doesn't actually expose I2C or SPI, so we're going to have to be a little more creative in how we can hook onto the actual bus itself. Get this talking to the rest of the Raspberry Pi. One potential idea is, if you look at the console, there's this little PCB here that's used for the cartridge. And it happens to use I2C as a communication protocol. So if we just kind of unplug this little cartridge board here, get our own JSD connector like this, stick it onto a breakout board, then we hook like directly into the I2C bus. If you just like take a look at the schematic for this board right here. Well, actually, here's an even dumber idea. So if you pay attention, these test points 9 and 10 actually expose I2C, and if we hop on over to the PCB layout, you see that they're right in the middle right here. So that's like literally right there. So we can actually technically solder some jumper wires directly to that, and then to this chip directly. I say it's worth a try. Yeah, maybe we could like take the wires and like route it out of this USB-C port, because it's quite big actually. It's gonna be so jank, but I think it might work. Busting out the trusty screwdriver set. Alright, let's get this thing opened up. It's 1, 2, 3, and there's a missing screw here, so that's gonna be it. And it should just come apart like so. Nice. Okay, and since the thing we want to solder is actually on the front of this PCB, we're going to also need to remove these screws, and it looks like this time there's 2 out of 4 missing, so that makes our life a bit easier. Okay, that's good. Let's jimmy this out, and here we go. This is the PCB, and if you look closely, so this test point 10 and 9 are the ones we care about. Alright, so over to my completely legitimate kitchen soldering setup. We're gonna take these 2 little jumpers, solder them onto here, and then just thread them through the USB-C port. So we got this hella jank soldering iron I got off Amazon that works half the time. This to turn it on, there we go, 500 degrees Celsius, beautiful. Take some of this beautiful flux, and since I lost the plunger, we're gonna use a pen to dispense it, but we're just gonna squirt some onto these. There we go. We're back at the IMU. As you can see, it also requires power and ground, obviously. And while I would love to do another bodge wire, we can actually make use of the debug dongle right now. If you just flip the device over, it just slots right into this right here. And now if you look at the debug dongle, we actually do have power and ground of multiple varieties that we can now just use a jumper and attach to this guy. We got the screen back on, and I'm just gonna power it using my laptop. So this should just turn on like normal. Let's see. Oh, let's go. Okay, so everything seems to be working fine. If I just take this gamepad and just stick it there, this should just work as normal, I believe. No? Oh no. Come on. Alright, worry not. I have more tricks. We can use this UART interface right here to get a serial debugger into this, and hopefully you can get a shell to see what the heck's going on with the input. Scripts setup, I believe. Here we go. How the buttons work is that since there's not enough GPIO on the Raspberry Pi itself, we use a SPI, I believe, GPIO expander called the PCA 953 something, and just taking a look in the dmessage logs, looks like it's not being found for some reason. Okay, it looks like I might have miswired. So it looks like the 3v3 line is actually a power output, so we want to use V in rather than 3v3. Let's try that. Okay, yep, so GPIO chip 2 is back and everything's wired in. Yes, okay. So this is kind of jank, but I could theoretically still play games. Let's see. Ugh. Hell yeah. Let's go. Okay, this is gonna be a struggle, but let's see if we can do it one hit. Ugh. Come on, come at me. I'm gonna connect to Wi-Fi so I can actually SSH into this thing and actually do some useful work. So let's get that done. Oh, it's already connected. Interesting. Okay. Alright, sick. We got a shell into this. So now let's see if we can talk to this guy. Looks like the LSMD9DS1 has two I2C devices built in. One of them is at address 6A, one of them is at address 1C, and if we come over here, we do see them. So, or this is 6B or 6B, and this one's 1E. But it says that those could be the alternate ones. So, looks like we detected this thing. So let's try to get some data out of this. Okay, we got gyroscope data. Awesome. Let's just see if it means anything. So if I just move this, oh, okay. There we go, there we go. So if I move this around, you can see those values reflecting based on my relative motion. Alright, I'm in the middle of writing a quick test program for the gyroscope. So essentially, there's a Rust program that will interact with the actual OS and do the IMU querying, and then it's gonna use a slight hack to pass information over to this pico8 program, where I will be able to actually print out what value the IMU is outputting. I'm doing my development on my PC, but obviously I need to test it on the device. Since I'm kind of lazy and I don't want to have to keep like SCPing the binary and stuff, I decided to install Cargo on the Raspberry Pi, and now I'm compiling very, very slowly. And this guy is like hot enough to like burn you. Like, alright, it's struggling. The UI is no longer responsive. Neither is my SSH session. This is not a great idea. Okay, so the solder jumper broke off because I think the Raspberry Pi got so hot that it actually like softened the solder itself, and it just like pulled off. The solder pad died. Actually, I have another dumb idea. So this is a prototype cartridge. It doesn't have the shell, but the idea is that it would just fit into here like this. But the cool thing is this little chip right here is an EEPROM, and one of these pins happens to be the same as this broken solder pad, the SDL line, the clock line. So instead, if we just stick this fake cartridge, or not fake, but like this cartridge into the port, and then we just solder another jumper onto this chip right here, we can still get the same signal as the pad that we broke. So this might actually work. Okay, I think I managed to pull it off. It's very suspect, but I swear it's not shorting anything. I have such a bad soldering setup, like there's like zero ventilation, so I breathed in so many fumes. There we go, like so. Very secure connection. It is working again, so you can see the I2C devices back here. So this absolutely jank bodge setup actually kind of worked. So what I've done here is write a quick program in Rust that would read from this gyroscope plus the sound alarmometer and use the data together to kind of predict at what tilt level it is. Since we have this data, we can pipe it to our pico8 program, or like pass it to our pico8 program, and then the game can decide what it wants to do. So the first thing I want to try doing is taking a game, instead of pressing the left and right buttons, tilt the physical device to control a character. I think that'd be super cool. The game I have in mind is Knight Rider. It's pretty sick, but basically you use the arrow keys to like move the car, and I think those will like lend itself super well to having tilt control. But I actually realized an issue, so if you take a look at the Knight Rider source code, it literally maxed out the tokens. So if you're not aware, pico8 has a token limit, so like you literally can't write too much code. There's like an actual cap to it. So because I also need to include my honestly kind of inefficient and poorly written serial library for communicating with the Rust program, we need quite a lot more tokens than this, so jamming it into this game will take a bit of effort. I would need to like remove some features from this game to make it work. So I'm just going to do a really quick demo from scratch instead of modding this game for now. Alright, here we go. We have all of the IMU data now. So it's streaming what it thinks the tilt is in degrees, and it's slightly not reasonable, but let's see if this works. I'm just going to go into this quick demo I wrote. And I should be able to control this ball now by just tilting it. Come on. No? Okay, I had a deadlock. I fixed it now. Alright, let's go. We're gonna move. It's still not oh! Okay. Alright, check this out. It's a bit jank and sensitivity's bad, but if I tilt down, it goes down. If I tilt left, it goes left. Stop. Oh god. There we go. Up. Left. Let's go. I think I just need to improve the responsiveness a bit, but at least it's working. It still could be better, but this is a great start. Like, look at this. Ooh. Let's go. Check this out. Ow. I'm just tilting this to control it. I just employed my good old friend some scotch tape and just taped the IEMU directly onto the Raspberry Pi. Alright, so I'll say that this project went quite well. It was surprisingly fun to play with tilt controls, so I might make this an actual feature in a future version of this console. Yeah, so hope you enjoyed this quick little devlog, and I'll see you around.